the lights. So I'm just playing with them a little bit and seeing what looks good. So some video, like my last video, you could tell I had my period so bad because I had pimples. I mean, not that I'm shy about that, but, and then I looked cross-eyed. So I'm trying to keep what works, just like with magic. That's kind of the idea of lighting, because I have no real experience. So, I guess talking about, since we're all in this occult path together, you know, whatever atheistic Satanism briefly is obviously that, you know, there's not a belief in God. This is just your own mind and your own subjective experience, and that Satan as the figure of the adversary is very attractive. And so, you know, even though if you're atheistic Satanist, you're still recognizing that this Bible stuff is not for you. And most likely, no matter what, in many instances, you grew up around these religious fanatics, and that really is the attraction to the adversary anyway. So that's, you know, you're going to be aware, just like Anton LaVey, being aware of the use of magical techniques and hypnosis to change your beliefs, but you're not really believing in God. And that's fine. Or Satan, as far as literal Satan. Like, you don't think that Satan is going to come and tuck you into bed and help you with your problems either. There's just you, which is the ultimate, you know, the ultimate individuality and freedom. Theistic Satanism, I'm probably a little bit of both, in the sense that, you know, using psychology, but I practice the Ars Goetia, and I work with them very seriously, and I do consider them parts of my mind, because I'm letting that energy into my space when I think about it, like a servitor or an egregore. But, you know, Satan and the fallen angels, which is what the Ars Goetia is, the Lesser Keys of Solomon, Lucifuge Rofocal from the Grand Grimoire, and then we've got, you know, Lilith and Mephistopheles from mythology. And you can summon that's the belief, is you can summon these things and you can work with them, and they exist independent of you, is essentially theistic. And so when you're doing a ritual, you know, you're going to summon this conscious energy into your life that has its own thoughts and will, intention, that can interact with you. So you know, yes, there's God, but there's also the devil too, and because we're here on earth, we're a little bit closer. So we're going to work with the fallen angels. And Luciferian, of course, is that you can see Lucifer, Satan. He has many names. He, she, Baphomet, has many names, of course, as this this figure that not only opposes God, but is right. And I really like that philosophy a lot. Instead of this God in the Bible who says, you can't have any gods besides me, you can't be doing this shit and that shit, then Lucifer is who you want to pick as God instead, and will be spending your time and energy worshiping, because Lucifer doesn't ask you to not be a pagan or to not have idols, but to, I mean, obviously living a balanced life and not be fanatic, but you're allowed to interact with other gods and mythologies that you believe in And this is a better God to choose instead. And I'm very attracted to that in the way that I think of Satan and Lucifer. Satan is bringing you into the darkness. Well, Luciferian, very similar. By bringing you into the darkness, you can do shadow work. Jungian ideas of that. Delving into the darkness is the way to understanding the light. And Lucifer is the morning star, the bringer of light. So for a couple thousand years, everybody's going to just believe this one thing, and then, you're freed up now to look and say, hey, this God is empty, and it doesn't care. This God doesn't, care, but Lucifer, talking about individuality, freedom, personal responsibility, and that is really what Luciferianism is that God is the actual true God. And I out of all those things, I really value all three different ways of looking at it very much. But I think that Lucifer, he heads the Ars Goetia. He is in charge, and then here's these other minions. But he doesn't treat them that way, like they have their own free will and their own function in their own minds, and they, his Goetia, they serve man, not God, because God wants everybody to just. Man shouldn't have even been here in the first place, right? Eve eating the apple. So we are enjoying, these fruits of knowledge, and the fallen angels were basically came with Lucifer because they want to serve and work with man. And they're closer to us on the astral plane as far as, I guess, removed from this, my psychic experiences. They're very close to the earth, kind of like the other gods that are really worked with and given these offerings of food. They like being around us because they like these basic human things like food, even though they are immortal. They're really attracted to the way we live our lives, and they want us. We get our free will, and then so do they. And ultimately, God gave us our free will, but doesn't want us to sort of have it, but we do. And so, through working with, the Council of Hell, and it's for being not something you're not supposed to be doing. Of course, President Marbus, working with your grounding sexual energy, which is your life force of health. He's a surgeon, and he understands these herbal knowledges and hell, bathing. Just working with him with astral projection. It's not, people imagine that the Ars Goetia is just going to be something that is just awful and evil, but when you really do practice it and drop the fear, you see that they're teaching these specific arts to you, working with you. And I believe that I treat them like they are both conscious entities that are independent of me, because fear, anger, happiness, they exist outside of me. They exist outside of humanity. So they think kind of like elementals. They think their consciousnesses of different kinds. And just because I don't fully understand it doesn't mean that I don't give it that benefit of blessing to saying this is conscious. And I also think when I, for example, work with Marvis, that he is also becoming part of my mind by I'm thinking about ways to improve my health, restrictions on behaviors that maybe aren't serving me better, or how you get into an argument and it just becomes emotional really fast. How can I behave differently on my end, which is what I control? How can I become healthier and therefore help the other people around me by not participating in this argument in this purely emotional way? I want to be grounded. So then I'm thinking about it, dreaming about it, it's in my subconscious mind, and that is powerful. That's the power of the placebo effect. It's the power of that. It works with the conscious aspect of energy coming into it's as above, so below, as within, so without. And that's the way I live and look at it. And I don't really try to get too hung up on the distinctions. Yeah. So I don't know. I guess my comment would be that so far, yeah, people have just been, I was just talking about how we really are in this together, guys, as far as we're brothers and sisters on the left-hand path, and, that's very true. Be supportive. I mean, we still need to hear a good thing. I mean, just because we're not evil, because you're an atheist and I'm a psychic, theistic Satanist, it certainly is, that means we should be like friends, right? So that's another thing. And then I also don't know why people think I have all the answers. I certainly don't have all the answers. Or like, if I make a topic on the Goetia and I say that I think that part of it is still my subconscious interacting with this. And you don't, you're like, well, fuck you, because they're just totally in control and they're conscious and you're just doing it wrong. Like, that's your way. I think Friedrich Nietzsche said that. I have my way and you have your way, and as far as the right and correct and only true way, that doesn't exist. So I'm going to end there, and then we're going to do tarot, and I'll show you guys, my Samagina workings, because I'll do probably like 3 videos on Samagina. So peace out, guys, and take it easy.